Good morning, 7th Standard. So I hope all of you all had a great weekend. So now we're continuing with the second lesson and extract one from the second lesson. So please open your textbooks to page 39 and we'll read it together. In the heart of Mexico, hawks soar above high mountains and swoop down to gentle slopes of corn below. There, on glistening rocks, iguanas rest beneath the hot tropical sun. Toucans chatter to ring-tailed cats perched in emerald green trees. All through these hills, puma run, grey foxes search for chickens, and wolves call to each other in the night. Now, see here, you see the description. It's all about nature and the way Mexico is here. Birds, the topography, that's the terrain, how is it? The weather, the animals you see here, right? So, the picture that's created there, here you have the location, right? The setting of the book, the opening of the book that tells you where it's taking place and what kind of a place that is, right? And so, when you read this, how do you feel about this setting? Now, the second paragraph. In a village at the foot of these mountains, a grandmother lived with her granddaughter. They planted corn, tomatoes, and sunflowers in the spring and watched as new green shoots sprang from the earth. They gathered milk white lilies in the summer and put them in baskets on their backs and took them to market. At harvest time, they decorated tall stalks of maize at the corn festival to give thanks for the year's grain. Grandmother stood proud and tall, her downy cheeks stretched smooth and plump across wide cheekbones. Her eyes were deep and warm and brown. And though they were sad, they were also kind. Powerful legs and sturdy feet rooted her to the earth like an ancient tree. Her arms were strong and her hands graceful with long, fine fingers. So you see the descriptions here. Now, in the second paragraph, there's an introduction to the people there. I mean, the characters, right? And what they do together. See, you see the pronoun they being used together, not a repetition once again of grandmother and granddaughter. They gathered, they decorated, they planted, right? Now, when you hear that, what do you think about it? What's the effect of it? You can make out that there's a great bonding between the grandmother and the granddaughter, right? They're doing everything together, and the grandmother's taking her granddaughter along with her, making her do everything along with her too, right? So they're doing everything together, okay? And milk white lilies. Lilies are flowers. I'm sure you have seen lilies. So you have them in a variety of colors, and uh, you do have them as quite big lilies, or you see them as small lilies too. Okay, so they're telling about all the things they're doing together there, both of them. In the third paragraph, they give you a description of the grandmother. What kind of a person is she? What kind of a picture do you get of her? That she's a strong lady, she's proud, right? She's very authoritative, and even the physical description of her, right? It tells you that there's a certain strength about her, whether it's her powerful legs or her strong feet. They show that she's uh, into what she is, and she's like an ancient tree. Ancient means very, very old, right? How is a very old tree? Its roots have spread, it's there to stay, not to be uprooted, right? And they tell her about her arms also, which are strong but graceful at the same time. Now, the keywords, the first box there, iguana, a type of lizard, toucan, a brightly colored bird. There you have a picture of the toucan there, the right side corner. Lilies are funnel like flowers, which you see, in white, yellow, orange, many colors. You can see them here even around Palakkad. Downy covered in fine soft hair. Now we've noticed some people, they have soft hair, or ladies, the hair is very soft, right? It's not like the hair men have on their faces with the beard, right? And it's not, that hair isn't soft, it's more rough, right? Okay, now let's go on to the questions there. Make notes on how the writer presents the setting of Mexico in this extract. So you'll get that answer if you read paragraph 1 once again. So go through that, see the descriptions. What has been described? How has it been described? So, what do you think about the setting of Mexico there? The setting, of course, is the location where a story takes place, right? Now, the second paragraph. Writers often choose specific words or phrases for their sentence openings. These help the reader make links within a text. That means make connections within a text. In the first paragraph of Grandmother's Song, 3 sentences openings include a location: Mexico, rocks, and hills. They also contain the preposition in, on, and through. These show the link between the location and the scenery or animals in it, right? For example, the first sentence, in the heart of Mexico. You have the preposition in and place Mexico and hawks. They tell you about the hawks there, the mountains there, right? And the actions of the hawks there. Okay. So there it shows you the link between the place, that is Mexico, and the animals, right? And then, of course, the scenery, that is the slopes and the mountains, right? So you see the connection there, right? Now, look at the second paragraph of the extract. At the start of each sentence, the writer repeats the pronoun they, followed by a verb such as planted or gathered. In pairs, find and list these phrases, then discuss the effect of the pattern. Now, when, as I told you, we don't first, we know who the they are, right? It is the grandmother and the granddaughter. Now, after that, you don't find them being used separately. It is used, both of them are brought together in the plural pronoun they, right? And the various actions that they're being, the verbs that are used along with them: planted, gathered, decorated, right? So, what do you think is the effect of that pattern there? You see that there is a unity between the two of these people. They're doing everything together. They're very close, right? So there's a atmosphere or a mood of affection, but at the same time a feeling that the grandmother is, looking after the granddaughter, grooming her and involving her in all that she is doing. Okay, now the keywords. What's a preposition? A word or group of words used before a noun or pronoun to show place, direction, or time. For example, you have below, above, under, right? And you have the pronoun, a word that stands in for a noun, right? As I've told you, suppose we say Ram is dancing, and I say he is dancing. Then you are replacing it, isn't it? Replacing Ram with he. So he is the pronoun, right? So a pronoun is a word that stands in for a noun to avoid repetition, right? Pronouns can be subject to personal nouns, example I or you have object personal pronouns, that's him or them. Or you have the possessive pronouns which show belonging, which is mine or ours. Okay, then let's just read that little reading tip there. When reading the opening of a story, think about how the setting is introduced. What hint might this give you about the story? Does it lead you to expect a happy tale? Does it suggest danger? So, here in this beautiful opening, what do you think the story might, the mood of the story might be? Do you think it'd be a very sad tale or maybe an adventurous tale? How do you think it would be? Okay, so have your opinions and we'll share them in our next class. Okay, so good morning, 7th standard, and I hope you'll all have a beautiful day.